Okay, anytime you're ready.
Okay, so let's see what we did then. What we had was you to check the distance of your auras. So one person stood not seeing, and the other person approached from as far distance as the room would allow to come close. And you'll see some had with 2 or 3 steps, and others kind of got, in every case as far as I'm concerned, everyone's auras to a large degree to be out in a crowd was way too big, which is commonplace. And as I said earlier, is if you've been raised in a home where there has been any kind of real heavy addictions, behavior issues, personality disorders that you're dealing with as a little one, naturally auras are way, way too big all the time. It's just very thin. It's very difficult to operate in the world a lot. They'll pick a lot of things up. When we're talking about energy releasing before, they're going to be full of it. And of course, the system is really trying to figure things out. So usually what happens then also is your psychic system is screwy. And I find that a lot when people come in for clearing work, is that we have to readjust the psychic systems, because the psychic system is looking out there for danger everywhere. So we got to calm that back down and give it a different job, for sure. So what happens when you determine, I also, when I've got a class and we're doing this at home, I also have some, rods that show, and a lot of people don't believe it when they feel it in their body. And as was pointed out when Connie did it, her body moved, but she didn't pick it up yet. So that's a part of becoming aware of the sensitivity that you actually have. But when you do it with your, when you can do it with coat hangers, steel coat hangers, you put the hook part in your hand, so the long part's there. No, sorry, reverse that. You put the long side in your hand so the crooked part is out there, and you can walk towards the person, and when you touch their energy field, those two will close up. And sometimes that can be much more effective. It's a great party game, so you can just kind of break ice if you want, see how that works and how that goes. So it's a really matter of looking at your energy. So when you're in a big room, like this, a lot of people, very often our energy does expand to encompass it all, especially me as a teacher here. I'm going to want to know what's going on. So, but it isn't effective if you're in a crowd.
I did feel a really slight twinge, but I find it's really distracting in here, so I think it's quite okay, because when you're not used to listening or watching for a body shift or change, it's kind of like, oh, you don't realize that's what you're looking for. Exactly. Yeah. It was almost like, did I really just move, or what was that? It's like really what it was.
The body moves because the body's felt the energy shift and the energy wave within that. So, well, what we want to know is what we do is that we're going to go out, we're going to be in a crowd. So I had several techniques, but the one I like the best is to imagine a vacuum cleaner underneath your feet. So again, imagination exercise. And you imagine it sucking your aura in. So just take a moment, imagine that, sucking it in. So you bring it in to about 18 inches, 2 feet from you. Now, I've done this with large crowds and demonstrations that has been quite interesting, where I do this. We have them imagine, feel out, just to see where they feel out, and then bring it in to about 3 feet. And just notice how it feels. Because remember, if it's not, you're not going to be comfortable often when you're just starting to bring it in, right? And then I want you, just put your finger up or your hand up if you manage to do that, to bringing it in through your vacuum cleaner, sucking that in. Okay, good. Most of you can do that. Then imagine it coming right into your skin, just to give you a reference point. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be comfortable, but I want you to get a reference point. Noticing it when you don't have an aura, how yucky it feels. That's yucky. But you need to experience that. Then breathe again, and just let it go to where it naturally wants to go. And just get a sense of how far out that is. And then again, have that vacuum cleaner come in and breathe it to have it come to about 18 inches to 2 feet. If you have to get it to 3, that's okay, but 18 inches is pretty good. And just notice how it feels, because this often takes practice. Because if you're a person who cannot go into crowds. And I used to have a student who would shop at 10 minutes to midnight in a store that opened to midnight, so there'd be nobody in the store. And by the time we completed the classes that I did one weekend a month for, I think in those days was 9 months, I think we did. It was way, way back. She could go anywhere at any time. She knew exactly how to do it. You just bring it in. And if you are going into a crowd and you begin to feel unsettled, you just imagine that vacuum cleaner bringing it in, right? Now, and what it'll do is that you're going to be able to function in crowds. So, those of you that have done this with me before, do you practice this?
No, obviously not enough.
Not enough. Forgot it? Yeah. Kristen practices it. Kim, do you forget it too?
Yeah, I do.
I do it, but not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, well, I find that and also if you want to get through a crowd, you can shape your aura like a point, and the crowd will part for you.
Oh.
The crowd will part. If you get that intention, this is where I'm going, is that strong intention into your aura, they will move out of your way.
Do you know what I do? Which is not a good thing. But my aura entangles with another person's aura. So if we're both coming at each other, we can't shift out of each other's way.
I've had that happen a lot.
And I think I'm the one that's
Entangling?
entangling.
Okay, first of all, bring it in, and if you find that, you could set up an invisible shield. A lot of you know my
Yeah,
feeling
I do
about
that.
protection is
Yeah.
not, don't like people going out there with the idea that you have to protect from the world. But it would be, if your aura is wanting to entangle, I would sort of encapsulate it so that it's more, but I like to have them breathe. So what I usually do, if you're going to do something like that with your aura, when you wanted to go out, the way I usually do that is you would see it on a mirror on the outside with like a filter, like a furnace filter, to give you an idea kind of thing, so that it's kind of breathy. And I put in there an instruction that good things can come into me and everything else gets reflected out. Because you cannot, it's not a good idea as far as I can see, to be not interacting with the world. Like to encase yourself like an egg is not what we're about. But what we want is to be in command of our energy, right? So that we can create the world that we want to create. So we bring it in, and if we need to feel that we've got to do something, that would be my suggestion. Outside mirror, with the instruction, the supportive energy can come in, everything else gets reflected back. You can add with love if you choose to. And so what it does is it filters. There's a little bit of a filter there, and that mirror effect. It's not that I would suggest you live like that, but if you feel that you're in a situation that you're needing to do something. I just find if I just get my aura strong, if I'm strong and it's strong, and it's not, doesn't have to be super big. And if you want to be invisible, if you really want to work invisibly, which many people, adepts do, is you bring your aura in, right in. You're not seen. I've done that occasionally. I just don't want to be seen.
I scared the hell out of a bull once. I was meditating in Oakgate Falls, yep. And there's the stockyards there.
Yeah.
So I was under the tree, and I always bring in when I meditate.
Yep.
And when I came back out, there was a bull like this far behind me on the other side of the fence. And snorting and up on the top, scared the crowd.
Yeah, because your energetically you were not there.
Right.
So, so that's just another little thing about auras, is that you can become invisible by just pulling it all in. The only thing is you have to practice it because it's so uncomfortable, because there's no way you get to feel anything. We do so much feeling, energy comes in that way. And also, too, in my model, the aura is attached to your chakras, which I'm not here so much to talk about tonight. But if your chakras are off, then you can have complications too, because you really need a healthy chakra system. And my take on chakras is very different than what the majority of people. And if I keep on doing this, I'll probably do an evening on chakras as well. But it's just enough to know to get your aura working. Because if you want to begin to transform and begin to claim who you are, that's one of the elements that you really need to know really well. So is there any questions? Did I leave anything out? Guys that have been through this before, anything I need to add? We're good? Okay, we're good.
I'm just thinking about, like, if you have a job,
right?
You know, when you're working with the public, would you want it to be open?
No, not overly. You just need to be polite. You don't want it too open. Because all you're doing is you need to be working with the person that's right there if you're having people coming, because they're going to come. If you have a friendly aura, they're going to come. You don't have to be out there greeting the whole world. You just need to be here. The more present you are, the more present that you are, the more effective you're going to be in your life. You know, we've all heard of that. Be in the now, be present. That means having your aura at a really nice place. A nice place of being able to work with that.